Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for being here with us today. Just give everybody just a couple minutes to join in here and we will get started. I'll just wait just maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Where's everybody tuning in from? I'm from Las Vegas right now, so sunny Las Vegas. Anybody else from Las Vegas or having similar weather to me? Which actually isn't so hot. I see Florida, a couple from Ohio. Oh, Reno, Nevada. See, you always think that Reno is going to have similar weather to Vegas, but it is probably much colder there, even though we're in the same state. Much colder. Got some more from Vegas. Good to see you, Curtis. From all over the place. Wonder if we have anybody from outside of the U.S. I don't think I've seen anybody from outside of the U.S. Oh, I see Spain. There we go. And Canada, of course. Gotta have our Canadians. Well, thanks for being here with us. I'll just give us just 1 or 2 minutes. I see many more people joining. Let you guys get out of your meetings. If you have any coworkers stuck in a meeting right now, no worries. We will record this and share it with you afterwards, so they will be able to watch it. All right. Yeah, I see everybody from all over the country. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today. The road ahead. If you've tuned into our events before, you know what to expect. We'll have an exciting session with some of our product managers. If you're new, welcome. Thanks for being here with us today. Hope to see you at all of our future events as well. I knew we'd have some representatives of Mexico here. Great to see you, Paulette and Christian. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we are going to get started. So welcome everyone to our community hosted event, The Road Ahead. We have an exciting session planned today. We'll be covering Geotab ACE with one of our senior product managers, Sajad. Then we'll go over to the Drive App Safety Center with one of our senior product managers, Justin. And to end this session today, we have one of our lead product managers, Sarah, to talk about the new keyless device. So this is going to be a very informative session. We're going to stop after each section to do Q&A. So if you have any questions while we go through the presentation, put them in the Q&A section. If you put them in the chat, we're likely to miss them. So make sure you use that Q&A function to ask all of your questions. If you have any coworkers who are unable to attend today, no worries. We are going to record this, so we'll share it early next week with you so that anybody that wasn't able to make it can watch it, or you can watch it back yourself. If you have any questions after one of the sections ends, no worries. Just put those in the chat. We will try to follow up with all the answers to the questions you ask after the event, all the ones that we don't get a chance to answer today. So feel free, ask away. And if you're watching this afterwards, you think of a question afterwards, always feel free to come to our community, ask those questions there, and we will pull in the experts if needed to answer those questions. So without any further ado, let's welcome Sajad with a virtual round of applause. Yay, Sajad, thanks for being here.
Thank you
I'll
so
hand
much.
it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ishi. Just share my screen here. Hello, folks. Sajad here, product manager at Geotab. I probably will be in contact with some of you. So, appreciate the time. So today I'm going to be walking through one of our sort of more AI-driven products, Geotab ACE. We're going to be talking about what Geotab ACE is, what it's hoping to achieve, and how it's going to help you do your work better, faster, easier. So that's the main purpose of this call, of this webinar, this part of the webinar. And I have my email here, so feel free to contact me if you have further questions down the road. So what is Geotab ACE? So what we want to do, the objective here is really to get you to answers faster. So if you think about data analytics today, regardless of the system or tool that you use, it's typically within the similar realm where you have a question in your mind and how much, or you can ask the question in your organization of how many miles did each of our groups do in by month in 2024, for example. And then Typically, in any system that you use, including like Geotab, you probably need to find the page or the report that contains this information, set up the right filters for it, download the data. Maybe you need to do a few rounds because you need to do by group and for each of the different months. And then you get your answer. And then ultimately, you might think, okay, like how does this compare to 2023? And then you're probably going to need to do that all over again. So typically with the world of data analytics, this is the case. But with the sort of the invention of generative AI, there's a new type of analytics, which is called conversational analytics. So it's about using natural language to get what you want. So in this case, you have a question in mind, similar question that we talked about. How many miles did each group drive by month in 2024? And instead of going through those steps, that's the promise of generative AI, is that it's going to reduce friction. It's going to reduce steps to get things done. You bypass all those different steps and you get to your answer directly. And then if you're interested in following up of like, okay, how did we do compared to 2023? It's just a matter of asking that. So significantly less amount of work, a significantly less amount of sort of trouble that you need to go through in order to get to the answer that you need, because ultimately the data is a means to an end. So you want to be able to spend the least amount of time possible on actually the data and more time on actually doing the work that you're trying to achieve. So the idea here is that ACE, or generative AI, conversational analytics, can help reduce time to value and insights, and it's really simplifying data exploration. So as an example here, with Geotab ACE, which is this natural language interface, you can simply type in any language. This is not just in English, for the people joining outside of North America. Show the total mileage driven by group each month of 2024, right? So this is a pretty complex question, if you ask me, and be able to get something like that. You wait for 39 seconds, maybe even less, as the models are getting faster, and you get that response. So pretty efficient way of getting the information that you need. And the good thing about ACE is that it explains itself, right? So in order for you as a user, you want to understand, you want to get the confidence that the AI understood what you're talking about and it actually did the things that it was supposed to do. So in this case, you can actually read and say the AI explains to you what it understood from the question and the steps that it took to actually get that done. Now, I do want to explain briefly like how ACE works. I think if you understand how it works, you can definitely have better interactions with it, because you know how things are running behind the scenes. So let's start from the left side, right? When a question comes in, we have an audit layer because we only want to answer relevant questions. So if you're asking for like a cake recipe, it's not going to provide you with an answer. It's going to be related to telematics, fleet telematics. And then the next layer, so as the question's good, it's relevant, it starts to go into this knowledge layer, right? So there's a lot of things that are going in the background. So we have hundreds of examples that we have handwritten in the background of queries that customers have asked previously and are relevant questions. And we have tons of context, just written context around how to answer questions, what kind of information. Lots of information around the schemas, right? What do these tables contain? We have hundreds of tables here at Geotab. What are these tables? What do they contain? What does each field mean? In what context should that be used? And this is what we call a knowledge layer. So once the question comes in, the AI has access to all of this knowledge layer, and it actually picks and chooses the right relevant information based on your question, and then takes that and then writes code. That's what it does, writes SQL code in order to be able to answer your question and be able to. So once that code is written, that comes back, we take that into our own environment, execute it on the database, return the result, and then ultimately we have a reasoning engine, which was that explanation that I just showed, where it just summarizes all the steps that it did and how it understood your question and how it answered. So there's lots that happens in the background in order to answer your questions. Now, not everyone knows how to prompt. Prompting is a bit of a new thing, I would say. In order to get you started in the ACE interface, which looks something like as you can see on the screen, you can actually pick one of the categories from the pills below that chat interface, and it will pop up a bunch of questions for you. So a number of vetted questions that you can just simply pick from. Or if you start typing specific keywords like idling or speeding, you can actually see those questions pop up and you can use those prompts directly, or you could decide to maybe modify them as needed. So we do understand that sometimes prompting can be challenging. So this is a good chance to sort of get a feel and sense of how you should be prompting and be able to get some help. Another feature in ACE that I would like to explain here that's going to be super useful is that every database in my Geotab, there's a lot of names involved, right? So you have like asset names, and you have driver names, and you have zones and groups and rules and diagnostics. There's just so many names. And the thing is that if you ask ACE, or AI in this case, the AI assistant, if you don't provide the right name of that zone or that asset, then ACE wouldn't know what you're talking about, right? We do have some capability to understand some typos and minor differences, but if the difference is just too large, well, ACE doesn't know what to look for, right? Because you could imagine like that example that I have below. The zone is called Walmart Supercenter, Blue Diamond Road, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, right? Like all of this is called the zone name. So if someone just says Walmart Supercenter, they can't expect the ACE to find that. Like, which one are you talking about? So in this case, what you can do is that as you're typing, you can type the @ sign, right? So you can type @ sign, and then you can start to search for that specific name. So if you even put a few letters, like in this case, Bluey is my vehicle, it shows up. So it's showing all the names in the database that have the word blue in them. In this case, Blue Diamond in that zone, and then Bluey is the asset name. So you can pick that. So when you click on that specific name, now ACE knows what you're talking about. So it has the exact name there. So definitely a feature to use, because you need to be specific. ACE needs to understand what you're referring to when you're referring to a specific name. Now you might ask, okay, how do I get access to this feature? So currently it is under beta features. So in my Geotab, the page that's called beta features, under options, there's one called Geotab ACE. You just need to switch that on. Just FYI, at the moment, ACE is only available to admin roles that have access to all of the data. So the access to data is everything, so the highest level of clearance. The good news is that within a week or two, so very soon, we'll have group level access and clearances respected as well. So other clearances could add ACE, and then we'll be respecting the group level access as well. So if you have only access to one specific group, or that user has access to one specific group, the responses that they would get would be restricted to that specific group. Some other features that are coming very soon, right now it's in our staging environment, it's going to be pushed to production very soon, is local timestamps instead of UTC. Full driver data support. I know we get a lot of driver-related questions. I'm happy to say that very soon we'll have full driver data support. DTC fault cycles. This is very common as well, where people ask about like vehicles that have the largest number of faults, etc. And we have diagnostic trouble codes that are the cleaned version of the faults tables. And ACE will have access to that information very soon as well. So some really cool updates coming. But the last piece, where is all of this going? There's a number of cool features, again, that the team is working on. History should be coming in very soon. We'll soon have a query library. So if you ask a question, for example, how many miles did each group do last month, for example? And this is a query that you always want to run, right? Like this is a query that you just want to save it. You don't want to come in every time and just type that. You just want to save this query. I'm happy with it. Every time I just want you to execute it. We're going to enable you to be able to save that query in your library, and you just have access to it and you execute it. And every time you get the proper answer. Visualizations is something else that we're working on. So getting the data, but also getting some visual access to more support, access to more data. So right now it doesn't contain all of the data. Like we don't have HOS, we don't have IFTA data, we don't have any compliance related data. So hopefully we'll be adding those, as well as driver, which is being added soon. And obviously improved accuracy, which is constantly something that's constantly happening. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to give you folks a bit of an overview. Again, please give it a try. Hopefully you'll get a good experience. There's a thumbs down and thumbs up opportunity as well with your responses, where you can provide us with feedback. The team directly looks at those on a weekly basis and addresses the question. So definitely feel free to use that as well. But that's it. Happy to take any questions.
Awesome. Thank you for that presentation. That was very cool to learn about ACE more. I did have one question that was answered. I'll share it here, but Alex was asking, can you ask ACE to run a report? You're saying that they're always blank. Not yet, but it is on the roadmap. So I just want to share that you can't actually have it run a report, but you can, ask it for the information that is within reports, like how many miles driven, things like that. I didn't see any other questions coming in, but if you do have questions, I'll just give you another minute if there's any other questions that you want to ask while we've got the expert here. Just give you 1 minute. I'll see if there are any accidentally put in the chat. Maybe if you can speak to can you ask in Spanish, or is this only English right now?
No, you can ask in any language, and the reasoning will match the language that the question is being asked as well. So
nice.
Full support for languages.
Awesome. And is ACE included just with Go plan, or does it matter what plan you're on to have access to ACE?
Nope. Doesn't matter which plan you're on. ACE will be available, is available to all the customers at the moment. There's a monthly limit of 200 questions per month. I think we've seen that be sufficient to this point. But there will always be a free version of ACE.
Okay. And is that like a rolling month, or is that like on the first of every month you get 200 questions again?
It just resets at the beginning of every month. So if you don't use it up, it's gone.
Awesome. And is ACE available for FedRAMP, and is it going to be in the future?
In the future, yes. Currently, no. So there's a bit of an approval process to go through, especially that involves like large language models and the services that we use. It's all within the Google environment. We're using the enterprise version of these services, just like the cloud version, right? So this is the same thing. This is not a consumer level like ChatGPT, for example. So there's no concerns around data usage, etc.
Okay. And in the questions, this was per the whole database, not just per user?
It's per the whole database, but again, like if you really run out of questions and you hit your 200 limit, just feel free to email me. I can bump you up. This is a bit of a arbitrary sort of limit that we've set just to sort of prevent any abuse at this point. But yeah, I can definitely bump you up if you need.
Awesome. All right. Well, other questions. We are out of time. And you guys after the event in the community, though. No worries. But John, appreciate it. And we are going to move Justin's. Give them all a virtual round of applause.
Thank you, everybody. All right. Muted. Let me know when I'm not muted.
There you go.
Is it good to go, Ishi?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me today on the road ahead. Today we're going to talk a little bit about safety. So last time, for any of you who were here, we talked about risk analytics, mostly focusing on the My Geotab side. What we're excited to talk about today is the fact that we can see it on the Drive app. So for those of you who are currently using the Drive app, this is something you can use today. In the future, if you'd like to start using the Drive app, then something you can use there. A little bit about me. I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So those of you that are in America, if you ever want to come see me in the Atlanta area, I'd love to meet with you, love to chat, or get down to Florida where I'm originally from. But today we'll talk about a few different things. And so the predictive collision rate recap, just what is risk analytics again, the year of the driver. It's really talking about that a lot this year. And then some best practices for how to use some of the new tools that have come out. And of course, it's the road ahead. So we got to give you a preview of what's next for Geotab with safety. So 2025 with Geotab. So last time we were all here, we talked about the difference between scorecarding, which is the traditional way a lot of fleets and a lot of our competition measures risk, and where we've moved to here at Geotab. And some of the flaws that are with scorecarding. Those scorecards are really a great tool to be able to tell you what's important to you. You can measure these things internally, and you can set weights for whatever's important to you as a customer. But what they're not really good at is helping you prevent collisions. And that's not really what they're intended to do. They're designed to tell you what's important to you about safety and whether or not you're doing those things. And what we are doing with Risk Analytics, the Safety Center, is focusing on areas that are specific to what's going to lead to a collision for your fleet in the next 100,000 miles if you're in an area that uses that, or kilometers if you're in an area that uses that. And we are able to predict this information because we're getting close to 5 million connected vehicles. So being able to have this much information gives us a lot of good predictive abilities. Take into account many different factors for our predictive models. Remember, we're looking at, is the vehicle safe? Is the behavior safe? Are the roads safe? Is the environment safe? All that goes into our machine learning model so that we can make predictions based on these past behaviors and based on these pieces of information to predict the future for you, so that you're not looking in that rear view mirror all the time, so that you're actually focusing on what's in front of you, looking through the windshield. Remember, if you're just looking at the rear view mirror, you're going to have some blind spots that you're going to miss. And it's more important to focus on what's coming at you than what's already happened. Just a quick reminder, it's a lot of different factors that go in. Aside from looking at just the driving behavior for harsh events such as acceleration, braking, cornering, and speeding, soon we're incorporating various things like following distance. So that's coming in the not so distant future as well into the model. We're also looking at the surrounding area in which that you're driving in. So we're looking at the conditions of, so are you driving on a weekend? Are you driving on a weekday? Environmental conditions. Is this an area that's experienced a lot of, or that does experience a lot of snow? And of course, the vehicle context as well. Remember, we're taking into a lot of different aspects in order to do this predictive behavior. We could have the entire presentation on just all of the different factors that we look at, but we'll highlight a few here. And with braking specifically, we're looking at those specific areas, not just whether or not the vehicle did it, but areas where there is a lot of braking. Take that into account for when we calculate your likelihood of collision if your assets or your drivers are driving into areas where there's a lot of braking. We're taking into account severity. And we do that without you having to do that. So instead of just looking through hundreds or thousands of exceptions, trying to find what matters and what doesn't matter, our model's already automatically doing that, then populating information to you as a fleet manager on, hey, based on what we've seen, this particular individual needs some coaching in this area. And we're providing information around the routes that your folks are taking, not just it's on specific road segments and the geographic locations that they're at. So we're really getting down to the level in which your fleet operates. And then again, correlating all this to help identify behaviors that lead to collisions so that you can stop those before they happen. And we're always getting better at it. Now, this is what the page looks like, just as a reminder to everybody. What you've got here is just a quick overview of the UI so that you can easily use it and see like, hey, my fleet's currently at about a 14% likelihood of collision. Is that good or bad? Well, fleets like me have an 11% chance, so we're running high risk right now. And the best in class, so that would be the 80th percentile or the rarefied air that you'd like to get. That's the target to really strive for. First, you want to get to at least where everybody else is, and then you want to be able to build onto that. And being able to drill down allows you to do just that. So you drill down into the specific vehicle that might be running a bit of a temperature, focusing on the areas that need coaching. So just as a quick slide for everybody, this was a question that came up last time, so we wanted to include it in this deck as well for everybody. What do the different, we'll just say the different pills mean when they say somebody is at risk or great or best? What are those ranges? So we've got the ranges right here. They're also available in the user guide, but because we send this presentation out to everybody, you'll have a copy of it just right handy so you can see, okay, this is about where my driver stands. And remember, we put everybody into percentiles, very similar to if any of you have children, take them to the doctor and the doctor says, Justin, your son is in the 90th percentile for head size. I think I said this last time, you can probably see where he gets that from. And the higher the percentile is good. Lower the percentile, less good. So here, the lowest percentile drivers, 0 to the 15th, those are the ones that are at risk. And in certain areas, those are the ones that you're going to want to coach on. The last call, we also had some questions about, hey, can you show me some information, Justin, about how this works? Like, I need to see a little bit of proof, to really understand that this does work. And what I had my data team do is put together a white paper, and my marketing person is on the call, so we can disseminate this information later potentially to the group as well, so you guys have a full breakdown. But this is just a sneak peek of what it looks like. Where essentially, if we're denoting you as high risk, you are 2.4 times more likely to be involved in a collision. And with that also has, with approximately 1 in 31 of those vehicles that are in the high risk category, experiencing one within a 9-month period. So essentially, if we're saying that you have high likelihood of collision, you're most likely going to get into a collision, or you're definitely more likely to get into one than a lot of your peers. So this predictive power is very helpful and gives a little bit more, credence to everything that we're saying. The most important part about this, in my opinion, is that different from scorecarding. Scorecarding, again, it's a great tool for you to be able to see what's important to you as a fleet, but you're only seeing what's happening to you as a fleet. With risk analytics, with these tools for predictive analytics, you can see what's happening in a larger scale around you. The view goes from kind of like this to like this. All right, now we'll get into the driver-specific insights, main topic for today. We talked last time about how it's not really necessarily fair to compare different folks that are all doing different types of work in different parts of the, maybe the region, maybe the country, maybe the world, and use the exact same scoring method to say, compare Jack, James, and Joe here. Jack driving a Sprinter van in the Las Vegas area, James regional in the Cleveland area in a Class 6, and then we've got Joe driving a Class 8 in the middle of Fargo. Traditional scorecarding methods would just kind of compare everybody equally, or we have customers that will attempt to set up multiple scorecards just to try to compare these different people against each other, and that becomes really tough and difficult for them to manage. The drivers get concerned because they say, hey, I don't really drive in the same areas as these folks. I'm getting unfairly punished because of the fact that I drive in an area of high congestion. How do you know that 10 harsh braking events is bad for me? Maybe that's good. Maybe that's normal for downtown Atlanta where I live. Whereas if you're driving in the middle of nowhere, 10 harsh braking events could be really bad. That's why instead of just pouring over all of those various events, we take it and we normalize it against each driver's or each asset's peers and provide the information to you. All you have to do is drive. Use this information. You just keep driving, and we will provide you the information to show, hey, this person is running a bit of a temperature. Or, for the area that this person drives in and the type of work that they're doing, just because they had this many events, they're actually doing pretty well, and they're a much lower risk compared to some of their peers. The benchmarks that we provide fair and unbiased rankings. What we've got is 3 different fleets right here. We've got one fleet in the United States. They're in the Midwest. They do some long haul, heavy duty trucking, and they've got a 7.8% chance of getting into a collision right now. It's moderate risk for them, but we're comparing them to others like them. On the other side, we see 2 fleets that are both in the European Union doing very similar types of work. And as you can see, we cluster those fleets together. These 2 fleets are completely different businesses, but they're doing similar types of work in similar parts of the world, and therefore we compare them against each other. This is important because it shows that we are doing the work for you. Instead of you trying to figure out who should be compared to who, like for like, we're already doing that. All you have to do is drive, and we provide the insights. But I just wanted to provide this here. It's just to show you everybody on the phone. It's like fair and balanced rankings that are already unbiased, and we're using machine learning for a sense of fairness. Now, the driver-specific insights, they're available at your fingertips. Today, for everybody on the phone, you are able to get access to the Drive app's ability to see safety on drive. You can go there right now. Everybody that has administrator clearance, you already have it right now on your phone. But anybody else, you would have to enable it through clearances. Through an abundance of caution, we wanted to make sure that this was a feature that you could roll out when you're ready to roll it out, not ahead of time, so that you as an administrator, you as a fleet manager, can get a good sense of how it works before letting your drivers see it. So it's already a very powerful tool. We have a lot of folks that really are embracing it because their drivers are able to see right on their phone, hey, this is what I didn't know that I was needing to improve in speeding. Now, you as a fleet manager might have been already very aware of that, but maybe your drivers weren't. This allows them to do some self-coaching before you have to have a conversation with that driver. And it invites conversation. We've had customers tell me, I have drivers that come to me because they'd like to improve in these areas. They don't want to be at a higher risk. They want to lower it so that they don't get into a collision, so that their duty cycle is not interrupted. This allows them to be able to identify those areas that they need improvement on. So you can find more information about this on the Drive app. So there's the administrator's guide as well as the driver's guide. There's good information on both of those for how to really dig your teeth into it. Now, some best practices. In order to use this, you need to have a Go 9 device or newer. Right now, it's not available for OEM. And you need an iOS or Android phone with a Geotab mobile drive app from the iOS or Google store. Then you set up the custom sub clearance for the drivers that you'd like to use it. Some best practices. At the beginning of the day, as a driver, you need to log into the Drive app and assign yourself to the asset that you'll be operating that day. That way, we can make sure that we're providing specific insights for you. If you drive the same vehicle, you can just keep using that same vehicle. But if you move from vehicle to vehicle, we'll follow you from vehicle to vehicle and provide insights based on what assets that you're driving and what routes that you're taking. Then we suggest that you check the Drive app before leaving for the beginning of your day. When you look at it, you'll find at the very top, you'll find the area that you might need the most improvement in, as well as whether or not you're considered high, moderate, or low risk. That way you can say, all right, this is the area, for instance, for our driver a moment ago of speeding, this is what I'll be working on today. That actually is my area that I need improvement on. Initially, it was cornering, but I've gotten better at that. My wife has reflected on that as well, that I don't take turns as hard as I used to. But I still need to work on my speeding. And I'll continue to do that with the help of the Drive app. Then you can also see areas that you're performing well. That way you can keep performing well in those areas. So first we show you the area you need most improvement in, and then rank order for what you're doing best in, so that gives a little bit of the good as well. And by using this feature as a driver, you'll know what your fleet manager knows. And from many drivers that we've spoken with, that's an exciting piece of information. So they're not surprised when they have conversations with the fleet manager or the safety coordinator about, hey, did you know you were doing this? No, I actually had no idea. Now it's, hey, the Geotab thing says I'm doing this. I got some questions about that. Let's talk about it. And that's usually how very productive conversations happen between drivers and fleet managers about, like, yeah, these are the areas that we need, Geotab says you need to work on in order to stay safe. As a fleet manager, you're also able to assign drivers. It can be done right in the system, where all you have to do is click the asset, select the driver, and boom, save, and you're good to go. So as a fleet manager, you too can assign drivers if your drivers don't want to assign themselves. But if your driver forgets, or maybe as a fleet manager, you forget to assign the driver, or you need to correct the driver, all you have to do is go into the trips history page, and you're able to make that correction as well. Just find the trip that you need to make the edit on. You're able to find that trip, this one, no driver assigned, click the 3 dots or hamburger, and then assign a driver. Once you do that, you're good to go. And then what we will do is we'll automatically take this information, scoop it up, and provide insights back to you. That way, all your folks have to do is drive, and we'll provide you some insights. For some more information about creating custom clearances, we included a Geotab Academy course. So if you have never done clearances before, in order to manage some of your features with Geotab, this will help you do that, or if you just need a refresher on that information. Quickly, on the road to head, we have more driver-focused tools. We're excited to announce this year Go Focus and Geotab Vitality. Both are available to continue to help your drivers. The Go Focus will help your drivers and not only provide them real-time safety insights, but help to exonerate them in the event that they are in a collision. So a great tool for that. I actually have one in my vehicle as well. And then Geotab Vitality, incentivizing their drivers to provide them goals and scores and rewards to help fleets reduce collisions and improve driver behavior. It's a powerful tool because not only is it encouraging behavior, but it's doing it in a positive way. Instead of negative reinforcement, it's giving them goals to strive for and giving them good reasons to want to improve. Personally, I'm using it too. And I notice sometimes that if the weeks that I don't get my gift card to get coffee, well, I'm doubly motivated to work harder the next week so that I can get my gift card to get coffee. Later this year, we'll have the new safety events coming out. This is something I'm very, very excited about. And I will continue to tell everybody about this because we should all be excited about it. The new GPS events that we are going to be releasing that will be specifically around acceleration, braking, cornering, and speeding will give you a lot of value. They're more accurate, less false positives. Inclusion of vehicle type for nuance of events. We hear you. Setting up different groups, setting up different types of rules for different types of vehicles can be challenging. And sometimes it feels like you have to be an expert in safety to be safe. No more. We'll automatically assign tolerances based on the information from the vehicle. So we'll decode the VIN and automatically assign these tolerances. That way, again, all you got to do is drive. All your folks have to do is drive, and we'll provide those insights to you. We've got more marketing and support materials, part of our Always On campaign. We've got lots of stuff out there. So if you want more information after this meeting about how these systems work, there's a lot out there. But of course, you're always able to connect with us. So my name is Justin Kammerer, Senior Product Manager here at Geotab, and I would love to meet with you to talk more about questions that your fleet has about safety.
Awesome. Thank you for all that, Justin. That was a great presentation. I appreciated learning more about good work. These almost 5 million connected vehicles. That's um. So I had a couple questions. Where Geotab is getting this speeding data? Is it going over the speed limit by a certain amount? Is it based on their custom rules or built-in rules? What is when it's considered speeding?
So I think I heard what you said, Ishi, but he broke up a little bit. So it sounded like you were asking, Justin, how do you determine whether or not somebody's speeding? Is that correct? So we determine it by utilizing a source of truth called OSM. So it's open street maps. It's available online. You can look it up, and actually it's able to be contributed by anybody from the community. And we use that as the main source of truth. We also have another algorithm for areas where it might be a little bit iffy on whether or not the speed is accurate or if there's just no information there. We take similar types of roads and similar types of information to fill in those gaps a little bit. But essentially, initially, we use that OSM information. Now, for risk analytics, we are using the standard system rules that are going to be coming soon to the rest of Geotab. So those are not rules that are set by customers, but the ones that our data team has standardized so that we can do some deep learning on that information. Now, how does speed count, whether or not you are speeding or not speeding? Right now, it's set to anytime you are speeding, whether it's 1 mile an hour over or 100 miles an hour and over, it counts as speeding. But we also take into account how long you're speeding for. So if you speed for just a little bit, less of a ding necessarily than if you're speeding for, say, 100 kilometers or 1,000 miles or something like that. So that's how we distinguish that information specifically around speeding. We are looking to add more information specifically around severity. That is a future item to talk about.
Awesome. Well, I'll just ask one more. Running low, but just one question: is this available for all? Does it plan that you're on to have?
You need to be on either Pro or Pro Plus, tongue twister, or on one plan. So as long as you're on one of those plans, it's available to you right now.
Appreciate all the information, and everybody will follow up with the rest of the questions in our community early next week. And your time, and let's get going. So let's welcome Sarah to talk about Keyless. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for being here.
All right. So today I'm excited to talk about Keyless. So you're probably wondering, some of you may be new to the Keyless solution. So I'm going to talk about the solution and also talk about our new device option. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm sitting here in the Waterloo, Ontario, Canada office. I'm the Canadian here. I'm going to talk about Geotab Keyless. It's essentially shared vehicle access with digital keys. You're probably wondering, digital keys, why would you do that? So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the Keyless solution, give an overview of it, and also talk about our device options. I'm a lead product manager here at Geotab, and there's my email address. Okay, so you're probably wondering, is this a good solution for you, and what value can this deliver? So, digital keys. Who is this really for? Well, my best answer, quickest answer to that is if you've got a situation where you have many drivers accessing many vehicles, you may be feeling some of these pain points here. Is that, passing around those physical keys, that requires management. Sometimes there may be paper, cabinets, etc. And passing them around, those keys get lost. And guess what? Those keys are getting more and more expensive to replace. Your maintenance cleaning personnel may lose productive time trying to locate the key. trying to figure out, they want to just get into the vehicle, but where the heck is the key? And, Justin just went through all of the great features for driver safety. But when you've got many drivers going through accessing many vehicles, it's hard to track who actually drove for which trip to take advantage of all those features. So Keyless, what we deliver, the value we deliver is that we really are that enabler for shared vehicle access without all of those pain points around physical keys. Your drivers save time and hassle by eliminating the physical key handoff processes because they're getting into those vehicles with digital keys. And you save high replacement costs of those lost physical keys, as well as the lost productivity, managing those physical keys. All right, what's another good one here is that if you've got a high fleet size and lower utilization across those, it may be because it's not easy to share those vehicles, right? As soon as it's hard to share, you've got more assigned assets, potentially with lower utilization. So Keyless can solve for that as well, where you can essentially look at this as part of your right sizing, tools in your toolbox to increase utilization across fewer sets of shared vehicles. All right, so what is Geotab Keyless as a solution? Essentially, we offer non-intrusive installation. So your vehicle isn't damaged, there's no funky installs. It continues to work for drivers in underground lots where there's no connectivity or remote locations. We know there's many parts our drivers can go without any data connectivity. It continues to work in all those scenarios. How do the drivers actually get in with digital keys? Well, they have an integrated mobile app using Bluetooth connectivity to the vehicle, or they're using tap cards through the tapping through the windshield. You as a fleet team have the ability to still support your drivers by sending remote commands to unlock and lock vehicle or unlock and lock vehicles straight from my Geotab. And digital keys can be both for scheduled and on-demand access, meaning a digital key can be set for a specific vehicle for a certain time window, but it can also just be this person needs to access this vehicle right now, and they just take the vehicle and go. And it gives you peace of mind that your shared vehicle access, shared vehicles are managed, and it has that automatic driver assignment tracking as part of the solution as well. Okay, and you're probably wondering, okay, Sarah, what the heck? What is the solution? So here it is in one slide. So what it does, it gets the driver in. The driver can unlock and lock doors. Once they're in the vehicle, they can start the vehicle. And we have the ability to help locate a vehicle. So if your driver goes out to the lot and wonders, okay, I have this vehicle, but where is it? Then we enable auditory visual feedback to help them identify the vehicle. And how does it work? So with digital keys, drivers are essentially permissioned with the digital keys. So they're given permission to use the vehicle on demand or in a reserved time. And they basically open up their mobile app, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. And with Bluetooth, it provides that reliable offline first access to the vehicle. NFC tap cards are a great fit when your drivers may not have issued mobile phones, or they don't want to use their personal mobile phones. They don't have personal mobile phones. NFC is a great fit for that. Remote commands as well. So that's another method I talked about where you can send commands directly over the data network, which in this case requires connectivity, but that's also a possibility for you. All right, so the solution. So what are the components of the solution? So first, it's important to explain that Keyless essentially works with the physical key. So we chose that method in our solution space as the most OEM-friendly method to allow and install this solution. So OEMs like this because we're using the native solution, the key, under the hood essentially to drive the solution. So the key gets housed in one of our device options, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. And this connects to the Go device via an IOX. Next, over here is a Keyless monitor. That's your method to send remote commands directly to vehicles, unlock and lock. An integrated mobile app allows drivers to access with a digital key the vehicles. So we have an add-in directly into Geotab Drive. So Justin was just talking about all the new safety features in Geotab Drive. Keyless works integrated in Geotab Drive as well. But we also offer, for more advanced functionality, an integrated partner solution, for which there are many on the marketplace. So Keyless essentially is built for integrations, and we have a lot of integrations available. So I'll talk about that too. Okay, so I talked a little bit about these options. So the first one is Keyless Lite and Geotab Drive. So this one is Geotab Drive. It just comes when you already have the Geotab solution. This is a great fit. Keyless Lite was used as named appropriately because it's really light. There's no reservations with this solution. Essentially, it's a really good fit when your drivers just need on-demand access, meaning they need a vehicle, they go out to the lot, they find an available vehicle, and they go, but they're not pre-reserving the vehicle. So that's Keyless Lite in Geotab Drive is a good fit for that scenario. Next, if you need more advanced functionality, we know a lot of our customers do. They want the peace of mind of pre-reserving those vehicles to make sure they're available when needed. So we have a lot of feature-rich integrated reservation shared mobility partners that are integrated with Keyless that offers this. And if you just search for shared mobility on the Geotab marketplace, you'll find a number of options for your region. So they offer advanced functionality, and the biggest one that I just mentioned is the ability to reserve vehicles. And last but not least, it's built for integration. So if you've got a solution already that manages vehicle access in any way, integrating Keyless into it is definitely a possibility. And we're happy to talk through and support that integration for you. Okay, I talked about the device options. That was kind of our big headline for this launch. So we recently launched iOS Keybox, our newest device option. So the whole goal with Keybox is to address some of the pain points that we hit with our original device option, iOS Keyless. So the pre-installation is probably the biggest one. So with Keybox, you essentially order the keybox for the key fob, and the key fob is placed directly into the unit. And I've got a demo one here in the office. This one does have a glass top, so it's more for demos. Normally doesn't have a glass top. And the key can simply place in the unit. So it's very simple. The key is not damaged. The unit is reusable with new vehicles. In the future, we're going to have the ability on the roadmap to adapt the unit for a new key fob type because each unit is built for a specific key fob shape and placement of the buttons. Key fob is reusable. It's not damaged. So when that vehicle leaves your fleet, the key is there and is left intact without damage. And the key fob can be made accessible to the driver. So that's the biggest benefit to this one, that if your key has a blade, this one doesn't, but if there's a blade that's required, the driver can simply access the unit. Typically, we recommend a glove box install for that case. They can simply extract it and use it to essentially put the blade in ignition to start the vehicle. Otherwise, push button start will work great without having to access the key in the unit. So that's an option for you. And vehicle support is pretty strong. So we support a wide range of common and recent models. Meanwhile, on the iOS Keyless side, iOS Keyless is our original device. We'll still absolutely continue to make that device available. But the key fob does have to be soldered into the unit. The unit, we don't recommend it's reused. After that, it degrades the quality of the integration, makes the solution less reliable. The key fob is not recommended to be reused after that. It's pretty much soldered in. And the key fob, if you need a key fob that's accessible to the driver, such as to start with the blade, a second key is required for that one. But the benefit here is there's few exceptions to key fob support. The key fob support is pretty strong. In this case, pretty much any key can be integrated into the unit. So that's essentially the differences there. And then I'll just talk a little bit about each. So key box, just to kind of envision how this would work, you would order a unit specifically for your key fob type. So I mentioned earlier, the key fob needs to fit snugly in there. The unit needs to know exactly where the buttons are to press them, because it's essentially a mechanical pressing of the buttons. That's how we achieve the simplicity in this case. We tried to keep it super simple. And the unit is attached directly to the Go device with the IOX port. And it's a really simple installation. The key fob is just placed in there. One part that I didn't mention is that there is a cable that can power on and off the key, but that is a simple installation as well. That just replaces the existing key battery with a new power unit. And that would explain the second part here, is for push button start vehicles, the power is enabled to the key fob when the vehicle is unlocked. So you can imagine the driver clicks unlock on their phone, on that mobile app that's integrated, or Geotab Drive, or they're using an NFC tap card to unlock the vehicle. The first thing that happens is the doors are unlocked, but the key fob is powered on. As soon as you have a live key in the vehicle, you're good to go to drive the vehicle. So we try to keep it super simple that way. And lock just does everything in reverse. So power is disabled, the doors are locked. Like I mentioned, the benefit here is that the key can be made accessible to the driver and for convenience reasons, but it can also be removed and returned. So at the unlock, the unit is unlocked. So I showed this drawer here. It is unlocked right now, but when you lock the vehicle, this drawer is locked. So it's essentially a lock box for the key. When in the future, we're going to have sensors that will detect the key fob is properly returned. We obviously got feedback on that, so that's something that will be coming as well. All right, for IOX Keyless, you would order your unit, but for North America customers, you would be shipping your keys to Geotab for integration into the unit. That's a service we offer. And the key fobs are assembled into the unit, but the key fobs are not. They're essentially in the unit, and that's it. We recommend ordering a secondary key. And they work very, very similar for the push button start. They're interchangeable options too. I forgot to mention that a fleet could have IOX Keyless, IOX Keybox in the fleet, and they both work extremely well. They're all interchangeable. They're all integrated into the platform without having to do any extra work there. Push button start works exactly the same as I mentioned with Keybox. For bladed key start, there does have to be a second key in the vehicle. With this one, we offer an integrated starter inhibitor that adds extra security because we're recommending a second key is placed in the vehicle without any kind of security in that case. So a starter inhibitor adds to the security in that scenario. That's my presentation for today. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. And Justin, you guys stay out idling.
I'm so sorry, Ashi, you're breaking up. I unfortunately can't hear you. I'm so sorry.
Let me try. Is it still breaking up now? I'm having some internet issues.
Oh, Jen, I can't hear you. I think you're muted. I apologize.
No, thank you, Sarah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, great.
Okay, perfect. So hi, everyone. I'm also on the community team. It looks like Ishi's experiencing some audio issues, so I'm going to do my best to fill in for him, although I definitely won't be able to replace him. But it looks like we do have one or two questions, Sarah. So one of the questions here is, what about Europe with the second option?
Oh, with both device options, IOX Keybox and IOX Keyless?
Javier didn't specify. He just said with the second option. Javier, if you want to maybe elaborate a little more. We can give him a moment too, and I'll go to the next one. We'll see if Javier can give us a little more information. Is the key box available? Oh yeah,
go
please.
ahead. I can speak about Europe. 100%. iOS Keyless, iOS Keybox, both available in Europe. We have many integration partners in Europe as well, and we have a wide customer base in Europe as well. So Europe should be good. We have strong support for Europe.
Perfect. So the next question is the Keybox available for Canadian Public Works departments? What is the SQU for authorized installers, and is it offered through the Canoe or Sourcewell programs in Canada?
It's not yet available through Sourcewell, I believe, but I will just double check. But it otherwise is available for Canadian customers as a whole, but if you're purchasing through those standardized contracts, I'd have to double check. The SKU would be iOX-Keybox on those, but I will double check about Sourcewell. That's a really good question. Thank you for that one.
Thank you. And then we have another question from Randy. Randy was wondering if he can control idling with the keyless entry or turn off after idling for a period of time.
Oh, that would be nice, but no, unfortunately, we don't have any idling control for that. Yeah. So yeah, the driver would just drive as normal, and it doesn't intervene to cut off the ignition or anything like that.
Okay, great. I think we'll give just one more moment here. So it looks like Javier did have an additional question. So Javier was wondering, you mentioned that in North America for the second option, it's needed to send the key to Geotab. Is Europe also needed to send the key? That's what Javier was asking us.
Right. Yeah. So in North America, correct, it needs to go to Geotab. In Europe, we have a number of recommended partners that does the key fob soldering. Our top recommended partner is called DealerBest. They are based in Madrid, Spain, and they are very, very, very strong and can do the key fob soldering very, very well. So please talk to your partner account, your reseller partner account manager about that option, but they are called DealerBest.
Perfect. And so I think we're pretty much past time. There was one more quick question I'll try and get to, and then I'll wrap this up. So Sam was wondering, how will the system deactivate the vehicle key?
Oh, so essentially, we power on and off the key. So with the key box, one thing I didn't show is that there is essentially a power cable that replaces the battery key. So just like if you were to replace the key in a battery, you would open up your key fob, you would place this new disc that has a cable, and that's controlled by the unit. So that powers on and off the key in the unit. It's called the key power controller. In iOS Keyless, that's just a built-in part of the soldering process as well, is that the key power is also controlled by the unit as well. So that essentially makes the key fob present or not in the vehicle, right? So they would unlock, the key fob would become present in the vehicle, and therefore the push button start works, and they can go.
Great.
We tried to keep it super simple.
Yeah, that was even simple enough. I think someone like me who's not super technical couldn't clearly understand that. So, yeah. But thank you so much. So I think that's all the questions we have. If there are additional questions after this, or for anyone watching the recording, please feel to reach out, ask them in the community. We will definitely bring everyone back on who presented today, and we'll get their expertise in there as well. Additionally, there will be an email going out Monday morning that will include a copy of this recording, access to all of the slide decks, and a little bit of information on how to register for next month's session of The Road Ahead. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you all, and thank you, Sarah, for joining us.